In the midst of a deep playoff run for the Bills, there are some individuals who sit down, turn on the TV, and continue to watch the product known as Buffalo Sabres hockey. As being one of those people, I can tell you right now, season 14 is among us of the playoff drought, and I don't really see it ending anytime soon. Let's get right into the video here. Today I'm going to be talking about what is the problem with the Buffalo Sabres, and I think the answer could be multiple things. Let's start with the product on ice, aka the players. Let's start with the goaltenders. Again, all three of them this season have to be better. I'm going to say that about pretty much every player on this team. But we look at UPL, an 896 save percentage. You got to be over 900 if you want to be a true starter in this league. 14, 14, and 4. Again, solid numbers, but if you want to be a playoff team, you got to be better. Devin Levi has been atrocious this year. He's been good in the AHL, but his NHL numbers, I mean, come on, an 872 save percentage, 4.12 goals against on average. Just pathetic numbers there. Again, goalies take forever to develop, so I'm not worried about it. That just can't be your answer, and not right now. And James Reimer, we're just going to disregard him, right? Again, he's 1-3-1. Save percentage, 903. It's whatever. Is he really part of the team? Not really. It is what it is. Now let's go to our forwards and defensemen. Let's start with the defensemen because, again, if there's one glaring problem with the Sabres, and it's been the same problem for the last 3 seasons, and probably even more, it's been the defense. And it's not so much the defense not contributing on the offense, it's more so the defense not contributing on the defense. And again, it says it right in the name. Your goal is to defend the net, defend your own crease, and that's something they don't do at all. We can start with Rasmus Dahlin. He's been great. No complaints about Dahlin. Might be one of the 3 players I talked about this video who I'm not going to say anything really bad about. Sure, he takes too many penalties, but he's the captain. He is clearly the best player on the ice a majority of the time when he's out there. There's really not much to say. Then let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Bowen Byram, he's all right? Like he showed some spurts of greatness. He can score goals, but overall his defense it's all right? There's not much to say about him. He's a second line defender on a playoff team. Unfortunately, he is a first line defender on our team. We move to the second line of our defense, and this is where it really just shits the bed. You have Owen Power, who, again, defensemen develop slowly too, just like goalies. I get it, but his defense has been so bad. And again, he's been great on offense. He has a good future ahead of him, but he needs to develop on defense. He is so weak in front of the net. He doesn't get hits. He doesn't go for block shots. He is just clueless. He moves like a baby deer out there, like he's in quicksand. His decision making is so slow. It needs to get better. And again, I have no problem with Owen Power being this slow to develop. If the GM would have came in and given him a defense partner, given him something to work with. But on the opposite side of Owen Power is Henry Jokiharju, who would not be playing on any playoff team, but he continues to have a spot in the Sabres roster, and he's just one of the worst players on the ice at all times. I mean, his defense isn't there. His offense consists of 60-mile-an-hour one-timers from the point that go nowhere, right into the goalie's chest, or they out of play. It's just embarrassing to watch Henry Jokiharju play, and the fact he's been on this team for so long is a joke. I just really don't understand it, but to make matters worse, sometimes he's not even the worst defender on the team because that third line of defense, you have guys like Jacob Bryson and Connor Clifton who once in a while have good games. Like Connor Clifton, I'll give him credit. I think 3 games this year I've said, wow, he's actually been pretty solid today. He's gotten hits. He's gotten block shots. He's been good on defense. He's jumped into the play on offense. But sometimes Connor Clifton is just as weak or even weaker than Jokiharju and Owen Power in the defensive zone. And Jacob Bryson should not be on this team. Again, I've given him credit. Jacob Bryson, he went from a scratch every night to an everyday player. I'll give him credit. He's climbed up the ranks. But again, you move him to any other team. Is he playing? Probably not. He's undersized. He doesn't use his body at all. His block shot ability is not up there. Again, the effort is there. It's just the talent. He shouldn't be on this team. But shout out Jacob Bryson. He's managed to not be the worst defender on this team after a couple years in a row of being that guy that I complain about nonstop. We talk about the forwards. I mean, Tage Thompson, he's doing good. 20 goals, 18 assists this year. Again, you'd like to see those numbers a little bit higher, but when a team goes out in the offseason and does absolutely nothing, again, I'll continue to say it. Every Stamkos needed their Braden Point. Every Patrick Kane needed their Jonathan Toews. Every Sidney Crosby needed their Malkin. The list goes on and on. When you have one superstar on your team at forward and you're not going to pair him with anything, teams can just double team him the whole game. And, Tage Thompson, all of a sudden, those crazy moves he used to be able to make because defenders had to shadow the other side, they're not shadowing the other side. What are they doing? Dylan Cousins is coming up next to him. Oh, boy, I got to cover him. Oh, Alex Tuck's over there. Oh, Ryan McLeod's over there. They don't care, right? Like, you look at these power play situations, you just shadow Tage Thompson. Nobody else. JJ Peterka, we'll get to him later in the video, has been atrocious this year. Nobody's scared of anyone but Tage. So Tage Thompson's out there. He's still getting it done, but the numbers would be way higher if they had someone else that teams could at least be a little fearful of on the other side of Tage. Again, he's still listed as a center, but he's bounced around this year, winger, center. They're trying to get him going, but until the GM does anything with this team, it's not going to happen. Jason Zucker, I mean, the fact that he's second in goals is a disgrace, but it is the case. He's 16 goals, 19 assists. And Jason Zucker, again, nothing but good things to say about him. He's one of the few players this video that I will do that about. He's been a great addition. I hope they do re-sign him. Not super long term, but 2 years would be fine. If not, I get it, but there's no reason to trade him for a third-round pick, fourth-round pick, because those picks are not going to mean anything in the NHL. We move on to JJ Peterka, 10 goals, 22 assists, but the points don't really matter. The on-ice production does, and what I see from JJ Peterka is a scared player, which is really just really bad, because as someone who is a huge JJ Peterka fan, I have 2 jerseys of his, definitely watched him climbing up the ranks, was really excited. He just seems shaken, and this whole team seems scared and shaken. I get it, and the confidence will come with winning, but when you're not winning, that confidence goes down. And Peterka, in those empty net situations, in those power plays, he just looks so scared out there. The puck gets on his stick and immediately he fumbles it. He has no one-timer ability anymore, and he's a streaky player, so that just shows you confidence. When his confidence is high, he's scoring goals, but there's been very little of that this year. We move down the list. Ryan McLeod has 10 goals too. Of course, that hat trick definitely helps out with that. But again, a good addition to the team, a little bit of proof that, hey, maybe if we do trade these prospects that are never going to see the ice, or at least for the next 5-6 years, maybe we should get some talent now. Ryan McLeod's been solid. Not much to say about him. Again, not anything too special, but he's been all right. Dylan Cousins, he's changed his skates, and he looks a little bit better. So I guess if you want to use that as an excuse for his disastrous first half of the year, go ahead. Jack Quinn, same sort of thing with Peterka, streaky player. Just seems like the moment's too bright for him right now. Zach Benson, Peyton Krebs, I'll pair these two guys together right now. Feisty, undersized, definitely good additions to the team. But right now, again, you rely on these guys for a little bit too much because you don't have a lot of talent on this team. So you have guys like, Benson and Krebs, who are these kind of grinder type players. Obviously, Benson has a little more offensive upside. But again, we're expecting greatness out of these two because the team just has looked so bad, and any little shove or hit, makes these guys look so much better because nobody else is willing to put their body on the line. Yuri Kulik, again, very young. I'm not going to hit too much on him. I think he's been good for what has been expected of him. He has a wicked shot, and he seems to be the only player on the ice, with consistent goal opportunities. Hasn't really found the back of the net as often as I would have liked, but he's there, and his expected goals is pretty high, so I'll give that to him. Let's skip over a few of these guys and let's talk about that disastrous fourth line. Nicholas Abe-Kubel, Beck Malenstein, and Sam Lafferty, the 3 players Kevin Adams thought would replace our fourth line from last year. This will get us to the playoffs. You could not be more wrong. I mean, this group of fourth liners is one of the worst lines I have seen from the Sabres since I've started watching hockey. And again, I've watched 14 years of no playoffs in a row. It is terrible. Sam Lafferty is completely lost 99% of the time. Nicholas Abe-Kubel would not play on any other team in the NHL at this point. And Beck Malenstein, he brings a little bit of physicality. So again, I don't mind him as much as the other two, but still, just, again, it shows you the incompetence from the higher-ups. And now let's segue into the higher-ups and the coaching staff. We could group these into these two things into one thing here. Why do you bring in Lindy Ruff if you're going to not overhaul your team at all? Again, you have a very soft group of players, and you hire a coach in Lindy Ruff who likes to play dare I say, New York Islander style hockey where it's, score a goal and then play defense. And we've seen that so many times, right? They get a lead and all of a sudden they shuffle into this defensive mindset. They sit back. Oh boy, here we go. We're going to sit back and, protect the net. But like I said, all of these guys are so weak in the defensive zone. They do that and all of a sudden they're down by 3 goals 2 minutes later. You can't play that style of hockey. This team hit its peak when they had Don Granato. In that season, they missed the playoffs by 1 point, and they were just winning games 7-6, losing games 8-7, whatever, right? Like that is the peak of this core. So what do you have to bring in? You have to bring in some veterans that bring a little bit of defense and let the guys who know how to score, and let the veterans who know how to defend. But right now, you bring in this absolute clunker of a fourth line. You try to fill the gaps as best as possible, but Kevin Adams did a terrible job in the offseason. Again, sitting on his hands, not bringing in anyone of name value. And again, you bring in these guys who nobody's ever heard of. That's not going to help you make the playoffs, and it's certainly not going to help you sell tickets inside the arena. Again, the place looks like a ghost town halfway through the season. Time of this recording, there's 36 games left. I find it hard to believe they have any more sellouts, maybe for robbery night, but just an absolute joke. Again, there is no reason why your team should be out of the playoffs consistently midway through the year. I mean, that just doesn't happen in any other league. Whatever, though. Again, you hire Lindy Ruff, but you don't let him have a say in the assistant coaches. You don't make the team for him. And if you call that an attempt to make the team for him, getting Sam Lafferty here, I don't know what to tell you. The GM has to go, or at least move positions. You have to bring in a president of hockey ops, and you have to start spending some money because, again, you're consistently under the cap. If you're not spending to the cap every single season, there's really no point to even walk out onto the ice because you're not going anywhere in this city. So we'll see what happens there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, just another joke of a season. Thankful for the Bills. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, the Bills are, on their way to the Super Bowl, beating the Chiefs. We'll see what happens there. But again, once the Bills season ends, the city of Buffalo is left with nothing because nobody's watching the rest of the season. It's a continuous joke. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're still here, I appreciate you guys, and have a good one. Peace out.